Hello, good day. Welcome to today's broadcast, or is it podcast? My name is Benjamin Chesed Ampulo, a lawyer of 25 years at the bar, worked with the legislative arm of government for almost 2 decades, almost 20 years. Been teaching now in the university, law lecturer, 8 years now. I have enthusiasm, or rather, I am an enthusiast for national transformation and corporate development of nations. How do nations really grow? How do nations develop? Nations first realize that they have, resources which they must take advantage of. Either they are natural resources or human resources, intellectual resources, or even spiritual resources. For instance, Nigeria has a lot of or a high volume of spiritual resources. That's why you will find the largest church buildings in Nigeria, the largest church congregations in Nigeria, the largest mosque buildings in Nigeria of all African countries. The highest number of pastors and denominations and churches in Nigeria. Churches that have indoctrinated the population to be righteous, to be godly, to be religious. And that's why you find Nigeria to be one of the most religious and morally, guided nation among the countries of Africa and the rest of the world. Nigerian population happens to be a God-fearing population. A lot of the things that are considered normal in most African countries, like the recent scandal of the Mr. whatever his name, Baltazar is it Ngonga or something, I don't know I can't remember his name. People in the revelations have started showing that a lot of these African countries are, lewd, godless, with loose moral values. But when you come to country Nigeria, we have a set of people that have high regard for spirituality, for moral values, and that's why even our legal system and our legislative structure does not have tolerance for things like LGBTQ that foreign countries have threatened us with if we do not embrace into our legal system, and a lot of these other vices that are acceptable in other countries of the world, gender, switching and all whatnot that are acceptable in other parts of the world. Our setup here in Nigeria does not accept it because we have, high rate of spiritual resources. Now, the focus is how do nations develop? Nations develop when they realize that they have natural resources, human resources, intellectual resources, and they capitalize on developing these resources. Countries like Japan, Korea, Malaysia, Taiwan, that are highly advanced technologically and in manufacturing, don't even have a lot of the natural resources that we have. They don't even have enough land. So they grow their cities, is it horizontally upwards? That's why they have to build skyscrapers, because they cannot expand their cities vertically because they do not have sufficient land. I think that it's time for us as Nigerians, and especially for our leaders, to begin to understand that we must go beyond the shenanigans of politics that we have been embroiled with over the years, and begin to see the destiny and the fate of our people as being critical, so that we begin to deploy resources for the harnessing of intellectual resources that we have, human resources that we have, and the natural resources that we have beyond crude oil. Agriculture, for instance, these precious stones, for instance, the weather, the climate, developing tourist sites and zones that will attract, the high volume of traffic that will bring in foreign exchange that we require for the running of our economy. I think that these are the scratch of the tip of the iceberg that we can begin to whet our appetite with as we embark on the journey of the quest for knowledge, for development as a nation, as a country, and as a people. Thank you. Have a good evening.